Chapter 11. 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying to them. 2. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the living things which you may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. 3. Whatever parts the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and chews the cud, among the animals, that you may eat. 4. Nevertheless these you shall not eat of those that chew the cud, or of those who part the hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud but does not have a parted hoof, is unclean to you. 5. The hyrax, because it chews the cud but does not have a parted hoof, is unclean to you. 6. The hare, because it chews the cud but does not part the hoof, is unclean to you. 7. The pig, because it has a split hoof, and is cloven-footed, but doesn't chew the cud, is unclean to you. 8. You shall not eat their meat. You shall not touch their carcasses. They are unclean to you. 9. You may eat of all these that are in the waters, whatever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, that you may eat. 10. All that don't have fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of all the living creatures that are in the waters, they are an abomination to you. 11. And you shall detest them. You shall not eat of their meat, and you shall detest their carcasses. 12. Whatever has no fins nor scales in the waters is an abomination to you. 13. These you shall detest among the birds, they shall not be eaten, they are an abomination, the eagle, the vulture, the black vulture. 14. The red kite, any kind of black kite. 15. Any kind of raven. 16. The horned owl, the screech owl, and the gull, any kind of hawk. 17. The little owl, the cormorant, the great owl. 18. The white owl, the desert owl, the osprey. 19. The stork, any kind of heron, the hoopoe, and the bat. 20. All flying insects that walk on all fours are an abomination to you. 21. Yet you may eat these, of all winged creeping things that go on all fours, which have legs above their feet, with which to hop on the earth. 22. Even of these you may eat, any kind of locust, any kind of katydid, any kind of cricket, and any kind of grasshopper. 23. But all flying insects which have 4 feet are an abomination to you. 24. By these you will become unclean, whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. 25. Whoever carries any part of their carcass shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. 26. Every animal which parts the hoof, but isn't cloven-footed, nor chews the cud, is unclean to you. Everyone who touches them shall be unclean. 27. Whatever goes on its paws, among all animals that go on all fours, they are unclean to you. Whoever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. 28. He who carries their carcass shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. 29. These are they which are unclean to you among the creeping things that creep on the earth, the weasel, the rat, any kind of great lizard. 30. The gecko, and the monitor lizard, the wall lizard, the skink, and the chameleon. 31. These are they which are unclean to you among all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until the evening. 32. Anything on which any of them falls when they are dead shall be unclean, whether it is any vessel of wood, or clothing, or skin, or sack, whatever vessel it is, with which any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until the evening, then it will be clean. 33. Every earthen vessel into which any of them falls and all that is in it shall be unclean, and you shall break it. 34. All food which may be eaten which is soaked in water shall be unclean. All drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. 35. Everything whereupon part of their carcass falls shall be unclean. Whether oven or range for pots, it shall be broken in pieces. They are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. 36. Nevertheless a spring or a cistern in which water is gathered shall be clean, but that which touches their carcass shall be unclean. 37. If part of their carcass falls on any sowing seed which is to be sown, it is clean. 38. But if water is put on the seed, and part of their carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. 39. If any animal of which you may eat dies, he who touches its carcass shall be unclean until the evening. 40. He who eats some of its carcass shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening, and he who carries its carcass shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. 41 Every creeping thing that creeps on the earth is an abomination. It shall not be eaten. 42 Whatever goes on its belly, and whatever goes on all fours, or whatever has many feet, even all creeping things that creep on the earth, them you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. 43 You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creeps. You shall not make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled by them. 44 For I am Yahweh your God. Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be holy, for I am holy. You shall not defile yourselves with any kind of creeping thing that moves on the earth. 45 For I am Yahweh who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. 46 This is the law of the animal, and of the bird, and of every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps on the earth. 47 To make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living thing that may be eaten and the living thing that may not be eaten. Chapter 12. 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying. 2 Speak to the children of Israel, saying. If a woman conceives, and bears a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As in the days of her monthly period she shall be unclean. 3 In the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. For she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. She shall not touch any holy thing, nor come into the sanctuary, until the days of her purifying are completed. 5 But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her period. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. 6 When the days of her purifying are completed, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring to the priest at the door of the tent of meeting a year-old lamb for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove, for a sin offering. 7 He shall offer it before Yahweh, and make atonement for her. And she shall be cleansed from the fountain of her blood. This is the law for her who bears, whether a male or a female. 8 If she cannot afford a lamb, then she shall take 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons. The one for a burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Chapter 13. 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying. 2 When a man shall have in the skin of his body a swelling, or a scab, or a bright spot, and it becomes in the skin of his body the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priests. 3 The priest shall examine the plague in the skin of the body. If the hair in the plague has turned white, and the appearance of the plague is deeper than the skin of his body, it is the plague of leprosy. The priest shall examine him and pronounce him unclean. For if the bright spot is white in the skin of his body, and its appearance isn't deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate the infected person for 7 days. 5 The priest shall examine him on the 7th day, and behold, if in his eyes the plague appears to be at a standstill, and the plague has not spread in the skin, then the priest shall isolate him for 7 more days. 6 The priest shall examine him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague has faded, and the plague has not spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is only a scab. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. 7 But if the scab spreads on the skin after he has shown himself to the priest for his cleansing, he shall show himself to the priest again. 8 The priest shall examine him, and behold, if the scab has spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. 9 When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought to the priest. 10 And the priest shall examine him. Behold, if there is a white swelling in the skin, and it has turned the hair white, and there is raw flesh in the swelling. 11 It is a chronic leprosy in the skin of his body, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. He shall not isolate him, for he is already unclean. 12 If the leprosy breaks out all over the skin, and the leprosy covers all the skin of the infected person from his head even to his feet, as far as it appears to the priest. 13 Then the priest shall examine him, and behold, if the leprosy has covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean of the plague. It has all turned white. He is clean. 14 But whenever raw flesh appears in him, he shall be unclean. 15 The priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him unclean. The raw flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. 16 Or if the raw flesh turns again, and is changed to white, then he shall come to the priest. 17 The priest shall examine him, and behold, if the plague has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean of the plague. He is clean. 18 When the body has a boil on its skin, and it has healed. 19 And in the place of the boil there is a white swelling, or a reddish-white bright spot, then it shall be shown to the priest. 20 The priest shall examine it, and behold, if its appearance is lower than the skin, and its hair has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. It has broken out in the boil. 21 But if the priest examines it, and behold, there are no white hairs in it, and it isn't lower than the skin, but is faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. 22 If it spreads in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. 23 But if the bright spot stays in its place, and hasn't spread, it is the scar of the boil. The priest shall pronounce him clean. 24 Or when the body has a burn from fire on its skin, and the raw flesh of the burn becomes a bright spot, reddish-white, or white. 25 Then the priest shall examine it. Behold, if the hair in the bright spot has turned white, and its appearance is deeper than the skin, it is leprosy. It has broken out in the burn, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. 26 But if the priest examines it, and behold, there is no white hair in the bright spot, and it is not lower than the skin, but is faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. 27 The priest shall examine him on the 7th day. If it has spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. 28 If the bright spot stays in its place, and hasn't spread in the skin, but is faded, it is the swelling from the burn. The priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar of the burn. 29 When a man or woman has a plague on the head or on the beard. 30 Then the priest shall examine the plague. Behold, if its appearance is deeper than the skin, and the hair in it is yellow and thin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is an itch. It is leprosy of the head or of the beard. 31 If the priest examines the plague of itching, and behold, its appearance isn't deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the person infected with itching 7 days. 32 On the 7th day the priest shall examine the plague, and behold, if the itch hasn't spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the appearance of the itch isn't deeper than the skin. 33 Then he shall be shaved, but he shall not shave the itch, and the priest shall isolate the person with the itch 7 more days. 34 On the 7th day the priest shall examine the itch, and behold, if the itch hasn't spread in the skin, and its appearance isn't deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. 35 But if the itch spreads in the skin after his cleansing. 36 Then the priest shall examine him. Behold, if the itch has spread in the skin, the priest shall not look for the yellow hair. He is unclean. 37 But if in his eyes the itch is at a standstill, and black hair has grown up in it, the itch is healed. He is clean. The priest shall pronounce him clean. 38 When a man or a woman has bright spots in the skin of the body, even white bright spots. 39 Then the priest shall examine them. Behold, if the bright spots in the skin of the body are a dull white, it is a harmless rash. It has broken out in the skin. He is clean. 40 If a man's hair has fallen from his head, he is bald. He is clean. 41 If his hair has fallen off from the front part of his head, he is forehead bald. He is clean. 42 But if there is a reddish-white plague in the bald head or in the bald forehead, it is leprosy breaking out in his bald head or in his bald forehead. 43 Then the priest shall examine him, and behold, if the swelling of the plague is reddish-white in his bald head or in his bald forehead, like the appearance of leprosy in the skin of the body. 44 He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall surely pronounce him unclean. His plague is on his head. 45. The leper in whom the plague is shall wear torn clothes, and the hair of his head shall hang loose. He shall cover his upper lip, and shall cry, Unclean. Unclean. 46. All the days in which the plague is in him he shall be unclean. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside of the camp. 47. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it is a woolen garment, or a linen garment. 48. Whether it is in warp or woof, of linen or of wool, whether in a skin, or in anything made of skin. 49. If the plague is greenish or reddish in the garment, or in the skin, or in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is the plague of leprosy, and shall be shown to the priest. 50. The priest shall examine the plague, and isolate the plague 7 days. 51. He shall examine the plague on the 7th day. If the plague has spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in the skin, whatever use the skin is used for, the plague is a destructive mildew. It is unclean. 52. He shall burn the garment, whether the warp or the woof, in wool or in linen, or anything of skin in which the plague is, for it is a destructive mildew. It shall be burned in the fire. 53. If the priest examines it, and behold, the plague hasn't spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin. 54. Then the priest shall command that they wash the thing in which the plague is, and he shall isolate it 7 more days. 55. The priest shall examine the plague after it is washed, and behold, if the plague hasn't changed its color, and the plague hasn't spread, it is unclean. You shall burn it in the fire. It is a mildewed spot, whether it is inside or outside. 56. If the priest looks, and behold, the plague is faded after it is washed, then he shall tear it out of the garment, or out of the skin, or out of the warp, or out of the woof. 57. And if it appears again in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is spreading. You shall burn that in which the plague is with fire. 58. The garment, either the warp or the woof, or whatever thing of skin it is, which you shall wash, if the plague has departed from them, then it shall be washed the 2nd time, and shall be clean. 59. This is the law of the plague of leprosy in a garment of wool or linen, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean. Chapter 14. 1. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, 2. This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing, he shall be brought to the priest. 3. And the priest shall go out of the camp. The priest shall examine him, and behold, if the plague of leprosy is healed in the leper. For then the priest shall command them to take for him who is to be cleansed 2 living clean birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. 5. The priest shall command them to kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. 6. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. 7. He shall sprinkle on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird go into the open field. 8. He who is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and bathe himself in water, and he shall be clean. After that he shall come into the camp, but shall dwell outside his tent 7 days. 9. It shall be on the 7th day, that he shall shave all his hair off his head and his beard and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off. He shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his body in water. Then he shall be clean. 10. On the 8th day he shall take 2 male lambs without defect, 1 ewe lamb a year old without defect, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a meal offering, mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. 11. The priest who cleanses him shall set the man who is to be cleansed, and those things, before Yahweh, at the door of the tent of meeting. 12. The priest shall take 1 of the male lambs, and offer him for a trespass offering, with the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh. 13. He shall kill the male lamb in the place where they kill the sin offering and the burnt offering, in the place of the sanctuary, for as the sin offering is the priest's, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. 14. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. 15 The priest shall take some of the log of oil, and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. 16 The priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before Yahweh. 17 The priest shall put some of the rest of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. 18 The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make atonement for him before Yahweh. 19 The priest shall offer the sin offering, and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed because of his uncleanness. Afterward he shall kill the burnt offering. 20 And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meal offering on the altar. The priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. 21 If he is poor, and can't afford so much, then he shall take 1 male lamb for a trespass offering, to be waved, to make atonement for him, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mingled with oil for a meal offering, and a log of oil. 22 And 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. 23 On the 8th day he shall bring them for his cleansing to the priest, to the door of the tent of meeting, before Yahweh. 24 The priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering, and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh. 25 He shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. 26 The priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. 27 And the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before Yahweh. 28 Then the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, in the place of the blood of the trespass offering. 29 The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before Yahweh. 30 He shall offer one of the turtle doves, or of the young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. 31 Of the kind he is able to afford, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, with the meal offering. The priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before Yahweh. 32 This is the law for him in whom is the plague of leprosy, who is not able to afford the sacrifice for his cleansing. 33 Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, 34 When you have come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put a spreading mildew in a house in the land of your possession. 35 Then he whose house it is shall come and tell the priest, saying, There seems to me to be some sort of plague in the house. 36 The priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest goes in to examine the plague, that all that is in the house not be made unclean. Afterward the priest shall go in to inspect the house. 37 He shall examine the plague, and behold, if the plague is in the walls of the house with hollow streaks, greenish or reddish, and it appears to be deeper than the wall. 38 Then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days. 39 The priest shall come again on the 7th day and look. If the plague has spread in the walls of the house. 40 Then the priest shall command that they take out the stones in which is the plague, and cast them into an unclean place outside of the city. 41 He shall cause the inside of the house to be scraped all over. They shall pour out the mortar that they scraped off outside of the city into an unclean place. 42 They shall take other stones, and put them in the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar, and shall plaster the house. 43 If the plague comes again, and breaks out in the house after he has taken out the stones, and after he has scraped the house, and after it was plastered. 44 Then the priest shall come in and look, and behold, if the plague has spread in the house, it is a destructive mildew in the house. It is unclean. 45 He shall break down the house, its stones, and its timber, and all the house's mortar, and carry them out of the city into an unclean place. 46 Moreover he who goes into the house while it is shut up shall be unclean until the evening. 47 He who lies down in the house shall wash his clothes, and he who eats in the house shall wash his clothes. 48 If the priest shall come in and examine it, and behold, the plague has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. 49 To cleanse the house he shall take 2 birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. 50 He shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. 51 He shall take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. 52 He shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, with the living bird, with the cedar wood, with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. 53 But he shall let the living bird go out of the city into the open field. So he shall make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. 54 This is the law for any plague of leprosy, and for an itch. 55 And for the destructive mildew of a garment, and for a house. 56 And for a swelling, and for a scab, and for a bright spot. 57 To teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Chapter 15. 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, 2 Speak to the children of Israel, and tell them, when any man has a discharge from his body, because of his discharge he is unclean. 3 This shall be his uncleanness in his discharge, whether his body runs with his discharge, or his body has stopped its discharge, it is his uncleanness. For every bed on which he who has the discharge lies shall be unclean, and everything he sits on shall be unclean. 5 Whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 6 He who sits on anything on which he who has the discharge sat shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 7 He who touches the body of him who has the discharge shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 8 If he who has the discharge spits on him who is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 9 Whatever saddle he who has the discharge rides on shall be unclean. 10 Whoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening. He who carries those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 11 Whoever he who has the discharge touches, without having rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 12 The earthen vessel which he who has the discharge touches shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. 13 When he who has a discharge is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall count to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. 14 On the 8th day he shall take 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before Yahweh to the door of the tent of meeting, and give them to the priest. 15 The priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. The priest shall make atonement for him before Yahweh for his discharge. 16 If any man has an emission of semen, then he shall bathe all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening. 17 Every garment and every skin on which the semen is shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the evening. 18 If a man lies with a woman and there is an emission of semen, they shall both bathe themselves in water, and be unclean until the evening. 19 If a woman has a discharge, and her discharge in her flesh is blood, she shall be in her impurity 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. 20 Everything that she lies on in her impurity shall be unclean. Everything also that she sits on shall be unclean. 21 Whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 22 Whoever touches anything that she sits on shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 23 If it is on the bed, or on anything where she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. 24 If any man lies with her, and her impurity is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed he lies on shall be unclean. 25 If a woman has a discharge of her blood many days not in the time of her period, or if she has a discharge beyond the time of her period, all the days of the discharge of her uncleanness shall be as in the days of her period. She is unclean. 26 Every bed she lies on all the days of her discharge shall be to her as the bed of her period. Everything she sits on shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her period. 27 Whoever touches these things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. 28 But if she is cleansed of her discharge, then she shall count to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. 29 On the 8th day she shall take 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest, to the door of the tent of meeting. 30 The priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her before Yahweh for the uncleanness of her discharge. 31 Thus you shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, so that they don't die in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. 32 This is the law of him who has a discharge, and of him who has an emission of semen, so that he is unclean by it. 33 And of her who is sick with her period, and of a man or a woman who has a discharge, and of him who lies with her who is unclean. Chapter 16. 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, when they came near before Yahweh and died. 2 And Yahweh said to Moses, Tell Aaron your brother not to come at all times into the most holy place within the veil, before the mercy seat which is on the ark, lest he die, for I will appear in the cloud on the mercy seat. 3 Aaron shall come into the sanctuary with a young bull for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. For he shall put on the holy linen tunic, and he shall have the linen trousers on his body, and shall put on the linen sash, and he shall be clothed with the linen turban. They are the holy garments. He shall bathe his body in water, and put them on. 5 He shall take from the congregation of the children of Israel 2 male goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. 6 Aaron shall offer the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. 7 He shall take the 2 goats, and set them before Yahweh at the door of the tent of meeting. 8 Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for Yahweh, and the other lot for the scapegoat. 9 Aaron shall present the goat on which the lot fell for Yahweh, and offer him for a sin offering. 10 But the goat on which the lot fell for the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh, to make atonement for him, to send him away as the scapegoat into the wilderness. 11 Aaron shall present the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bull of the sin offering which is for himself. 12 He shall take a censer full of coals of fire from off the altar before Yahweh, and 2 handfuls of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. 13 He shall put the incense on the fire before Yahweh, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is on the covenant, so that he will not die. 14 He shall take some of the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it with his finger on the mercy seat on the east. Before the mercy seat he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times. 15 Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering, that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with his blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. 16 He shall make atonement for the holy place because of the uncleannesses of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions, even all their sins, and so he shall do for the tent of meeting, that dwells with them in the middle of their uncleannesses. 17 No one shall be in the tent of meeting when he enters to make atonement in the holy place, until he comes out, and has made atonement for himself, and for his household, and for all the assembly of Israel. 18 He shall go out to the altar that is before Yahweh and make atonement for it, and shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat, and put it around on the horns of the altar. 19 He shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it, and sanctify it from the uncleannesses of the children of Israel. 20 When he has finished atoning for the holy place, the tent of meeting, and the altar, he shall present the live goat. 21 Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions, even all their sins, and he shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a man who is ready into the wilderness. 22 The goat shall carry all their iniquities on himself to a solitary land, and he shall let the goat go in the wilderness. 23 Aaron shall come into the tent of meeting, and shall take off the linen garments, which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. 24 Then he shall bathe himself in water in a holy place, and put on his garments, and come out, and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people. 25 The fat of the sin offering he shall burn on the altar. 26 He who lets the goat go as the scapegoat shall wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. 27 The bull for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall be carried outside the camp, and they shall burn their skins, their flesh, and their dung with fire. 28 He who burns them shall wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. 29 It shall be a statute forever to you, in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls, and shall do no kind of work, the native born, or the stranger who lives as a foreigner among you. 30 For on this day shall atonement be made for you, to cleanse you. You shall be clean from all your sins before Yahweh. 31 It is a Sabbath of solemn rest to you, and you shall afflict your souls. It is a statute forever. 32 The priest who is anointed and who is consecrated to be priest in his father's place shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, even the holy garments. 33 Then he shall make atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make atonement for the tent of meeting and for the altar, and he shall make atonement for the priests and for all the people of the assembly. 34 This shall be an everlasting statute for you, to make atonement for the children of Israel once in a year because of all their sins. It was done as Yahweh commanded Moses. Chapter 17 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Speak to Aaron, and to his sons, and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. 3 Whatever man there is of the house of Israel who kills a bull, or lamb, or goat, in the camp, or who kills it outside the camp. 4 And hasn't brought it to the door of the tent of meeting to offer it as an offering to Yahweh before Yahweh's tabernacle, blood shall be imputed to that man. He has shed blood. That man shall be cut off from among his people. 5 This is to the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they sacrifice in the open field, that they may bring them to Yahweh, to the door of the tent of meeting, to the priest, and sacrifice them for peace offerings to Yahweh. 6 The priest shall sprinkle the blood on Yahweh's altar at the door of the tent of meeting, and burn the fat for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. 7 They shall no more sacrifice their sacrifices to the goat idols, after which they play the prostitute. This shall be a statute forever to them throughout their generations. 8 You shall say to them, Any man there is of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice. 9 And doesn't bring it to the door of the tent of meeting, to sacrifice it to Yahweh, that man shall be cut off from his people. 10 Any man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who eats any kind of blood, I will set my face against that soul who eats blood, and will cut him off from among his people. 11 For the life of the flesh is in the blood. I have given it to you on the altar to make atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that makes atonement by reason of the life. 12 Therefore I have said to the children of Israel, No person among you may eat blood, nor may any stranger who lives as a foreigner among you eat blood. 13 Whatever man there is of the children of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who takes in hunting any animal or bird that may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with dust. 14 For as to the life of all flesh, its blood is with its life. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, You shall not eat the blood of any kind of flesh, for the life of all flesh is its blood. Whoever eats it shall be cut off. 15 Every person that eats what dies of itself, or that which is torn by animals, whether he is native born or a foreigner, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. Then he shall be clean. 16 But if he doesn't wash them, or bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. Chapter 18 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, I am Yahweh your God. 3 You shall not do as they do in the land of Egypt, where you lived, and you shall not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you, you shall not walk in their statutes. For you shall do my ordinances. You shall keep my statutes and walk in them. I am Yahweh your God. 5 You shall therefore keep my statutes and my ordinances, which if a man does, he shall live in them. I am Yahweh. 6 None of you shall approach any close relative to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahweh. 7 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father, that is, the nakedness of your mother. She is your mother. You shall not uncover her nakedness. 8 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness. 9 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or born abroad. 10 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your son's daughter or of your daughter's daughter, even their nakedness, for theirs is your own nakedness. 11 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, conceived by your father, since she is your sister. 12 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. She is your father's near kinswoman. 13 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, for she is your mother's near kinswoman. 14 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's brother. You shall not approach his wife. She is your aunt. 15 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. You shall not uncover her nakedness. 16 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother's wife. It is your brother's nakedness. 17 You shall not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. You shall not take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness. They are near kinswomen. It is wickedness. 18 You shall not take a woman to be a rival to her sister, to uncover her nakedness, while her sister is still alive. 19 You shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is impure by her uncleanness. 20 You shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife, and defile yourself with her. 21 You shall not give any of your children to sacrifice to Molech. You shall not profane the name of your God. I am Yahweh. 22 You shall not lie with a man as with a woman. That is detestable. 23 You shall not lie with any animal to defile yourself with it. The woman shall not lie down under an animal, to join with it. It is a perversion. 24 Don't defile yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled which I cast out from before you. 25 The land was defiled. Therefore I punished its iniquity, and the land vomited out her inhabitants. 26 You therefore shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, and shall not do any of these abominations, neither the native born, nor the stranger who lives as a foreigner among you. 27 For the men of the land that were before you had done all these abominations, and the land became defiled. 28 That the land not vomit you out also when you defile it, as it vomited out the nation that was before you. 29 For whoever shall do any of these abominations, the souls that do them shall be cut off from among their people. 30 Therefore you shall keep my requirements, that you do not practice any of these abominable customs which were practiced before you, and that you do not defile yourselves in them. I am Yahweh your God. Chapter 19 1 Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and tell them, You shall be holy, for I, Yahweh your God, am holy. 3 Each one of you shall respect his mother and his father. You shall keep my Sabbaths. I am Yahweh your God. For don't turn to idols, nor make molten gods for yourselves. I am Yahweh your God. 5 When you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh, you shall offer it so that you may be accepted. 6 It shall be eaten the same day you offer it, and on the next day. If anything remains until the third day, it shall be burned with fire. 7 If it is eaten at all on the third day, it is an abomination. It will not be accepted. 8 But everyone who eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned the holy thing of Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from his people. 9. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, neither shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. 10. You shall not glean your vineyard, neither shall you gather the fallen grapes of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and for the foreigner. I am Yahweh your God. 11. You shall not steal. You shall not lie. You shall not deceive one another. 12. You shall not swear by my name falsely, and profane the name of your God. I am Yahweh. 13. You shall not oppress your neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of a hired servant shall not remain with you all night until the morning. 14. You shall not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am Yahweh. 15. You shall do no injustice in judgment. You shall not favor the poor, nor show favoritism to the great, but you shall judge your neighbor in righteousness. 16. You shall not go up and down as a slanderer among your people. You shall not endanger the life of your neighbor. I am Yahweh. 17. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor, and not bear sin because of him. 18. You shall not take vengeance, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. 19. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not crossbreed different kinds of animals. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed. Don't wear a garment made of two kinds of material. 20. If a man lies carnally with a woman who is a slave girl, pledged to be married to another man, and not ransomed, or given her freedom, they shall be punished. They shall not be put to death, because she was not free. 21. He shall bring his trespass offering to Yahweh, to the door of the tent of meeting, even a ram for a trespass offering. 22. The priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before Yahweh for his sin which he has sinned, and the sin which he has sinned shall be forgiven him. 23. When you come into the land, and have planted all kinds of trees for food, then you shall count their fruit as forbidden. 3 years it shall be as forbidden to you. It shall not be eaten. 24. But in the 4th year all its fruit shall be holy, for giving praise to Yahweh. 25. In the 5th year you shall eat its fruit, that it may yield its increase to you. I am Yahweh your God. 26. You shall not eat any meat with the blood still in it. You shall not use enchantments, nor practice sorcery. 27. You shall not cut the hair on the sides of your head or clip off the edge of your beard. 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor tattoo any marks on you. I am Yahweh. 29. Don't profane your daughter, to make her a prostitute, lest the land fall to prostitution, and the land become full of wickedness. 30. You shall keep my Sabbaths, and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahweh. 31. Don't turn to those who are mediums, nor to the wizards. Don't seek them out, to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh your God. 32. You shall rise up before the gray head and honor the face of the elderly, and you shall fear your God. I am Yahweh. 33. If a stranger lives as a foreigner with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. 34. The stranger who lives as a foreigner with you shall be to you as the native born among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you lived as foreigners in the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. 35. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in measures of length, of weight, or of quantity. 36. You shall have just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin. I am Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. 37. You shall observe all my statutes and all my ordinances, and do them. I am Yahweh. Chapter 20. 1. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, 2. Moreover, you shall tell the children of Israel, any one of the children of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners in Israel, who gives any of his children to Molech shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone that person with stones. 3. I also will set my face against that person, and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given of his children to Molech, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. For if the people of the land all hide their eyes from that person, when he gives of his children to Molech, and don't put him to death. 5 Then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all who play the prostitute after him, to play the prostitute with Molech, from among their people. 6 The person who turns to those who are mediums, and to the wizards, to play the prostitute after them, I will even set my face against that person, and will cut him off from among his people. 7 Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be holy, for I am Yahweh your God. 8 You shall keep my statutes, and do them. I am Yahweh who sanctifies you. 9 For everyone who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother. His blood shall be upon himself. 10 The man who commits adultery with another man's wife, even he who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. 11 The man who lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon themselves. 12 If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have committed a perversion. Their blood shall be upon themselves. 13 If a man lies with a man, as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon themselves. 14 If a man takes a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that there may be no wickedness among you. 15 If a man lies with an animal, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall kill the animal. 16 If a woman approaches any animal, and lies down with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. 17 If a man takes his sister, his father's daughter or his mother's daughter, and sees her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a shameful thing. They shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity. 18 If a man lies with a woman having her monthly period, and uncovers her nakedness, he has made naked her fountain, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from among their people. 19 You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, nor of your father's sister, for he has made naked his close relative. They shall bear their iniquity. 20 If a man lies with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. 21 If a man takes his brother's wife, it is impurity. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. 22 You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my ordinances, and do them, that the land, where I am bringing you to dwell, may not vomit you out. 23 You shall not walk in the customs of the nation which I am casting out before you, for they did all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. 24 But I have said to you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess it, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am Yahweh your God, who has separated you from the peoples. 25 You shall therefore make a distinction between the clean animal and the unclean, and between the unclean fowl and the clean. You shall not make yourselves abominable by animal, or by bird, or by anything with which the ground teems, which I have separated from you as unclean for you. 26 You shall be holy to me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have set you apart from the peoples, that you should be mine. 27 Man or a woman that is a medium, or is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon themselves.